messages. So, don't forget to fill in. Wait lang, I need to join. Or sign up. Okay, so, since we already finished discussing everything about business continuity management, halos ilang weeks natin pinag-usapan yung mga paraan kung paano makaka-bounce back yung business when they face some crisis. Yung pinaka-last lesson natin sa BPO is about security awareness topics for employees. So, when you became a part of any BPO industry in the future, maybe you are part of it today, no? Kayo ay nagtatrabaho na sa BPO company, I am sure that you are aware of the things that has been stated here in the learning material. So, basically, ang content nito ay at the end of this lesson, for all of you to know and be aware of different security awareness topics to be conducted to BPO employees. So, kung nascan nyo yung learning material, makikita nyo doon na yung content ng last unit natin ay tungkol sa kung ano nga ba yung mga things to do and things not to do when you became a part of a BPO company. And also, on the latter part, yung content nito ay tungkol sa crisis management or how will the business itself face any crisis that they might face, which is also been discussed thoroughly on the previous lessons that we have regarding business continuity management. So, ito yung learning objective natin today. Sana maging maalam kayo at maging aware kayo sa iba't ibang klase ng security awareness na ini-implement sa loob ng BPO company. So, yun po yung lesson natin today. Okay. So, there are several security management or rulings na ginagawa sa kahit anong BPO company. And one of the known one or yung pinakakilalang bagay na ginawang polisiya sa lahat ng BPO company ay yung tinatawag na clean desk policy. So, it is very easy to understand from the word itself, clean desk policy. So, according to the mandates of a clean desk policy, the only papers that should be left out are ones relevant to the current project you are working on. All sensitive and confidential information should be removed from the desk at the end of each working day. During lunch or any emergency departure during office time, all critical information should be placed in a locked desk drawer. So, if you are familiar with the settings of a BPO company, usually they have tables. No, meron silang kanya-kanyang tables, lahat ng employees. And all of those employees have their own drawers, have their own boxes, and have their own security places of each papers that they have. So, technically, yung ibig sabihin ng clean desk policy is whatever projects that you have already finished doing, sa mga previous projects na na-handle mo, all of those papers shouldn't be visible anymore sa table na pinagtatrabahuhan mo. Kasi nga, unang-unang ruling, syempre sa kahit anong kumpanya, is the data privacy. So, whatever they have, all the data that they have should be kept only on their vicinity, dun lang sa lugar kung saan sila nagtatrabaho. And stated din dito na meron daw mandates. So, ibig sabihin, may kautusan na clean desk policy na kung ano yung mga projects na ginagawa mo currently, yun lang dapat yung visible dun sa table mo. Dahil nga kailangan kinikip yung sensitive and confidential information na pwedeng makuha doon sa mga previous projects na natapos na. No, so, it's very easy to understand from the word itself, clean desk policy. Hindi siya literal na linisin mo yung table mo dahil makalat, may tulo ng kape. Yan. Hindi siya ganon. No, but rather, keeping all of the finished documents into a safe place para maingatan yung information na indicated doon sa papel na iyon. So, iyon daw yung unang security awareness sa BPO company is the clean desk policy. Next is bring your own device policy. Yan. So, this may sound easy to understand. Kasi bring your own device. So, parang sinasabi lang dito na magtala kang sarili mong device. But, it says the other way. Ang sabi dyan, BYOD covers the employee's personal computing possessions which might be used in a work settings. They may include mobile devices, audio players, digital cameras, and various other portable electronic devices which could be utilized to steal sensitive data. So, indicated daw dito sa BYOD policy na yung mga devices ng bawat employees ay somehow ipoprovide na ng company because they are somehow prohibiting using your own phones, yung personal cellphone mo, yung personal devices mo, because it might cause or it may lead to stealing sensitive data. If you are aware of the industry itself, yung BPO company, usually all of them provides computers, laptops for their employees. And yung mga laptop na iyon ay system generated. So, ibig sabihin, you can use it specifically for working only. Hindi mo siya magagamit para sa personal surfing mo. Like, mag-Facebook ka, mag-Twitter ka, mag-TikTok ka dun sa laptop. You can't use that specific device. But rather, system generated siya in a way of naka-install na dun yung software ng mismong kumpanya, nakalagay na dun yung software ng mismong kumpanya, and the other social media applications or yun nga, yung mga like MS Teams, Gmail, yun lang yung hindi nila pinagbabawalan na gamitin through the use of that specific laptop. So, imagine nyo na lang na pag nagtrabaho ka, tapos ginamit mo yung company laptop or company computer mo, you will just focus on your work kasi you are not allowed to scroll in any apps dahil nga system generated na yung laptop na gamit mo. And syempre, yung isang rason kung bakit nagpo-provide yung company nun is because they wanted to keep their data privately to ensure that the data that has been installed to that specific computer ay safe dahil sila lang yung nakakakita since it was system generated, and also for the employees to somehow prioritize only the workload that they have kapag gamit nila yung company laptop nila. So, kahit nasabihin natin na yung title is yung bring your own device policy, kabaliktaran na yung ibig niyang sabihin na yes, you will bring your own device, but the device that the company has provided for you as an employee, yun yung dadalhin mo. And yun nga, usually ang pinapadala na ngayon or ang pinaprovide na ngayon ng mga BPO companies ay laptop. But before, computer set, pag nagtrabaho ka as call center agent or customer service representative sa kahit anong BPO, bibigay sila. May headset, may speaker, and then yung computer itself. So, kompleto na. Kasi nga, on the end of the business owner or the BPO company, founders, CEO, etc., they wanted to keep their privacy. Kaya, nagpa-provide na lang sila ng mga materials or nagpa-provide na lang sila ng equipments for their employees. No? So, iyon yung ibig sabihin ng BYOD policy. Next is data management. So, employees should learn about all the types of data so that they can understand their business critically. So, kapag nakaraos kayo sa second year, nakaraos kayo sa third year, fourth year, meron kayong subject na data management. Now, so, in the business context, there are lots of business jargons na ginagamit sa business, syempre. Meron nga tayong tinatawag na Unified Modeling Language na na-discuss na natin on the previous lessons that we have in midterms. And sinabi ko sa inyo doon na merong mga salita or merong mga terminologies na ginagamit sa business na tayo lang ay nakakaunawa at hindi naiintindihan ng iba. No, kuwari, yung simpleng word na market. No? Market, as business administration students, dapat alam niyo na dalawa yung definition ng market. It can be the physical store or it can be the customers. Pero sa entong ibang, intindi lang nila sa market ay bilihan. Hindi naman nila alam na yung market ay yun din pala yung customers na maaari natin silang matawag as customers. No? So, and there are lots terminologies no, na pwede nating ma-classify into a unified modeling language, kagaya ng mga nabanggit ko before. And, syempre, when you became a part of a BPO company, dahil nga system-generated sila, meaning, meron silang ginagamit na system, tapos parang lahat nakaikot sa coding, di ba may mga trabaho nga sa BPO na tinatawag nating analyst, no? Data analyst, financial analyst, ano pa ba, researcher. Hindi naman sila gumagamit lang basta-basta ng Google, no? Hindi naman ganun yun. That's systemized, no? Gumagamit sila ng SQL, gumagamit sila ng Oracle, kung narinig nyo na yung mga term na yun. And marami pa silang ginagamit na ibang system to code the specific workload that they have. No, so, syempre, when you became a part of it, no, dapat naiintindihan mo kung ano yung mga data or types of data na ginagamit dun sa BPO company. Kasi merong iba na ang gamit ay ops. Kung familiar kayo dun. Ops. Yung iba naman ang gamit ay SQL. So, SQL is much more easier to understand. Pero madali siyang manakaw yung data na yun. Pag SQL yung ginamit na coding sa BPO. Pero kapag ops, mas mahigpit siya, mas secured siya. Mas lalong higit na secured yung Oracle kasi mas mahal yung system na yun. So, mas maintindihan nyo itong explanation ko if you are familiar with the systems no, sa business. Pero, since hindi nyo pa nga natitake yung subject na business analytics and also data management, maaring hindi pa ganun kaliwanag sa isip nyo. Pero, ayan, at least nabigyan ko na kayo ng brief introduction no, about sa mga system na ginagamit sa BPO. No? And, yun, sinasabi lang dito sa data management na yun, employees should learn all types of data. Lahat dapat ng klase ng data ay naiintindihan nila. Kasi, kung kunwari na si Abigail ay parte or ang workload niya ay isang data analyst pero hindi ka naman nakakaintindi ng iba't ibang data, syempre maaaring hindi mo alam yung gagawin mo dun. Hindi mo matatayuan ng husto kung ano yung job responsibility mo and it can get more worse. Mas pwede pa siyang lumala kung hindi mo talaga naiintindihan yung data na gamit dun sa business. Yan. So, ayun daw yung third na security awareness is data management. Next is removable media. So, your corporate personnel must be educated about the menaces of unsolicited removable media and prohibited from accessing any stray media such as external hard drive even if it's on a secured system. So, it is somehow related to the BYOD policy na sinabi ko kanina, yung mga BPO companies ay nagpo-provide no, ng kanilang equipments and ng kanilang laptops, computers sa kanilang mga employees. So, in that case, no, kung nagpo-provide sila ng company computer, company laptop, and then the employees should know no, na hindi po pwedeng saksakan ng flash drive, ng hard drive, yung specific na computer na yon. Dahil nga, yung rason kung ba't ka binigyan ng laptop ay para maging safe yung data, ano pang saysay kung gagamitan mo ng external hard drive, ng external na removable media, kagaya ng SD card, ng flash drive, ng external hard drive. So, sinasabi lang dyan na they should not use any removable media because it may cause data stealing. Diba nga, commonly known ang mga viruses kapag nag-e-eject and nag-i-insert tayo ng flash drive. Kung hindi siya properly na-e-eject, natatanggal, or hindi siya properly na-i-insert, nagkakos siya ng viruses. No? Kahit sa simpleng pag-insert and pag-eject lang ng USB, nagkakos na ng virus. So, what more pa? Kung systemize yung computer, and then, inugali mo na magsaksak ng kung ano-ano. So, it will cause something bad. O pwedeng mavirusan yung PC. Tapos, pwedeng makuha yung mga information. Something like that. So, kaya, sinasabi dito na isa sa security awareness ng mga BPO ay i-prohibit yung paggamit ng or pagbawalan yung paggamit ng removable media such as flash drive, external hard drive, and SD cards, card reader. Ganun. So, hindi siya pwede. Next is safe internet habits. Security training programs should incorporate safe internet habits that prevent attackers from penetrating your corporate network. So, kanina din, nabanggit ko na rin to, no, na since the device that the employees of the BPO is using is from the company, they are not also allowed to scroll, to surf in any applications na nasa-search natin sa World Wide Web. No? Merong mga kumpanya talaga na sometimes they allow, yes, open yung system. Ibig sabihin, may other user ka lang nabubuksan and then you are free to use Google, you are free to use Facebook, etc. Pero may iba talaga na as in isa lang yung user nung laptop, which is yung system lang mismo ng kumpanya. And again, the reason behind safe internet habits is the companies are just protecting the data that they have. No. Pwede kasing mag-cause ng viruses yung mga Facebook posting, or syempre hindi naman natin maiiwasan na, or hindi natin kabisado as a whole yung takbo ng Facebook app. Hindi natin kabisado yung X, hindi naman natin kabisado yung system behind Instagram. No, so it's easy for the hackers to steal any information kung merong random posting, kung merong mga links na provided na hindi man natin sinasadyang mapindot and napipindot, something like that. So, para maiwasan yung mga ganong cases, security training programs are implemented on the end of the BPO employees para matutunan nila na ito yung mga things to do and not to do, no, in scrolling in social media. Parang gano'n. Yan. So, aware naman siguro kayo na kahit sa ang trabaho, bago ka magsimula, may training muna na pinagdadaanan. And itong mga nababanggit ko, hindi man siya literally training na mahaba siyang pag-aaralan, pero isa to sa mga things na dinidiscuss sa training. Yung mga things to do and not to do ng mga employees ng kahit anong kumpanya. So, sa settings na lang ng BPO, ganito sila kahigpit. Most especially sa data privacy, kasi nga, sa BPO company, ano bang nature ng work? You are the third party, or somehow you are providing work for other companies. And kung yung kumpanya na malaki na yun ay pinagkatiwalaan itong BPO company na to, so they are responsible and accountable for all of the wrongdoings na mangyayari dun sa data. Kung merong mangyaring pangit, iba kagaya ng example natin, payroll processing, inuutusan ng SM si SSDR accounting firm, example lang, in-outsource ni SM si SSDR accounting firm na mag-handle ng payroll ng mga empleyado ng SM Marilao. So, ibig sabihin, yung data ng mga employees from SM Marilao ay hawak ni accounting firm na ito. So, kung yung mga empleyado ni accounting firm na ito ay hindi sumusunod sa kahit anong policies, no, na binanggit natin kanina, at merong isa doon na nanakaw yung personal information, nanakaw yung pasweldo, nanakaw yung ano pang mga ID number, accountable dun si accounting firm. No, so, iniiwasan natin mangyari yung mga ganong klaseng lapses, ganong klaseng crisis, dahil nga trust ang isa sa nakakapagpatibay, no, ng BPO companies. Sa totoo lang, tiwala sa kanila nung ibang parties. Kaya sila nag-e-exist dahil pinagkakatiwalaan sila ng other parties. How come silang pagkakatiwalaan kung meron silang mga unsolicited doings, wrongdoings na ginagawa through internet? So, iniiwasan nila yun. Kaya sila may gantong ruling. Yan. So, I hope you get my point. Madali lang naman siyang intindihin. In-explain ko lang ng maigi dahil yun yung mga possible work, no, na pasukin nyo in the future. Personally, I applied to some, no, na mga analyst, research and development associate, ganyan. Kasi yun yung field na gusto kong tahakan kung magbi-BPO ako. Pero yun, hindi nga lang ako napunta dun. Pero okay lang naman. At least na-familiarize ako dun sa mga policies nga na ginagawa sa loob ng BPO company. Yan. So, ma-share ko lang, before, meron akong part-time work na ganito, pero non-voice nga. So, parang nabanggit ko na yata sa inyo. Non-voice siya. So, naghahawak ako ng audits, puro numbers. Yan. Pero, still, syempre, iniiwasan. Well, I use my own device during that moment, pero may other user. Yan, yung sinasabi ko kanina. May other user na pwede akong mag-surf. Kasi isang user ay solely for that specific work lang. Pero, yan. May cellphone naman ako, so hindi naman ako pala scroll dun sa laptop na ginagamit ko na company laptop. Yan. Yan. So, yan. Included dito sa safe internet habits is, yan nga, learn not to open malicious attachment or click on suspicious links. This is achieved by deeper understanding the warning signs of phishing attack. It's better to disable pop-up windows as they invite risk. Users should refrain from installing software programs from unknown sources. Specifically, links infected with malware. Nowadays, an overwhelming number of websites offer free internet security programs that infect your system rather than protecting it. So, nabanggit ko nga kanina na iwasan yung pag-click, no, ng mga malicious links. Yung iba kung saan na dederecho, biglang online sugal na pala. Pag pindot mo ay porn site pala. So, dapat iwasan, no, yung pagpindot ng mga malicious attachment or suspicious links. Kasi, it can cause, no, something worse para sa company. So, yun yung sa safe internet habits. Next is the physical security and environmental controls. Security awareness isn't just about the what resides in your company's computers or handheld devices. Employees should be aware of potential security issues originating in physical aspects of the workplace, and this includes spatial awareness as well as physical components. So I will reiterate everything about physical security and environmental control. So, special issues include visitors or new hires watching as employees type in password known as shoulder surfing, letting in visitors claiming to be inspectors, exterminators, or other uncommon guests who might be looking to get into the system called impersonation, leaving passwords on a piece of paper on one's desk, leaving one's computer on and not password protected when leaving work for the night, and leaving an office-issued phone or device out in plain sight. So, bukod dun sa mga emails, malicious emails, mga malicious attachment, suspicious links, ganyan, isa din daw sa dapat na maging aware yung mga BPO companies is yung tao no, sa paligid. Physical security and environmental controls, yung kapaligiran mismo. Kasi sinasabi dyan na may mga instances din daw na yung mga bisita or yung mga bagong hire ay tinitingnan kung ano yung password nung device nung co-employees. So, syempre, as human beings, no, it's nature for us to sometimes look kahit hindi naman natin intention na tignan. Normal yon. Kaso nga lang, dahil nga meron silang iniingatan data, dahil, for example, 65 tayo dito sa class. Lahat tayong 65 ay employee ng BPO. Kanya-kanya yung hawak natin, hindi tayo pare-pareho ng data na hawak. Kasi yung maaaring na trabaho ko ay natapos na ni Andrea. maaari yung natapos na ni Andrea ay noon pa pala natapos ni Angelica, na pwedeng maging cause ng nakawan ng information kung aware kayo sa password ng isa't isa. We are just talking about like sa BPO settings na dapat iniingatan yung passwords nung mga devices na ginagamit. And yun nga yung tawag is shoulder surfing. Yung parang bigla ka na lang nalingon na gano'n na parang password niya pala yung tinatype niya. Ganon. Yun din daw ay mali sa end ng mga BPO owners. Tapos pangalawa is yung mga visitors na kiniklaim na sila ay inspector, exterminators, or hindi naman sila mga guest talaga, pero sinasabi na ganun sila. Nag-i-impersonate lang sila. So, pwedeng yung impersonator na yun or yung nagpapanggap na yun is someone pala na nanakaw ng data, sisilip dun sa project, iwasan din daw yun. Tapos, yung password na isinusulat sa papel, hindi daw dapat ganun. Tapos, yung nag-iiwan ng company laptop or yung company device na walang password. And then, yung mga phones na ini-issue ng offices na iniiwan mo lang sa plain sight or iniiwan mo lang dun sa mga lugar kung saan madali siyang makuha. So, dapat din daw yung iwasan. Next is social networking danger. To prevent the loss of critical data, the enterprise must have a viable social networking training program that should limit the use of social networking and guide employees with regard to the menace of phishing attacks. In addition, ask your employees not to provide their credentials or login information to unknown sites or sites that are similar to the original one. So, yan, social media na naman yung gustong ipahiwatig nitong social networking dangers, no, na all of the BPO employees are somehow digging dun dapat sa surfing, na dapat aware sila na maraming klase ng phishing attacks, maraming klase ng viruses na nakukuha sa social media. And sinasabi dito na they should not provide their credentials, pangalan mo, ID number mo, bank statement mo, and etc. Kasi nga, it will cause much more worse scenarios kapag na-virusan. Kaya pag, alam mo yun, yung na-scam ka nang hindi ka naman aware, and many more. And scamming naman, hindi lang naman sa pera yan nag-work eh. Nai-scam din naman yung data, nai-scam din naman yung information. So, para maiwasan, wag na lang pinoprohibit talaga ang paggamit ng social media doon sa mismong device. Sa mismong company device na pinrovide. Pero kung kunwari break time, baka naman kasi isipin nyo, sobrang higpit naman pala sa BPO. Kung kunwari break time, nanon kayo sa pantry, pwede naman mag-phone. Hindi naman pinagbabawal yun. Pero kapag nanon kayo sa actual na workplace, usually yung mga TL, yung mga team leader, yung sabihin na, cellphone, bawal yan. Yung mga ganun. Normal yun marinig kapag naging part kayo ng BPO company. Pero baka may ilan sa inyo na part na hindi naman ganun kahigpit. Meron lang mga malalaking korporasyon na ganun, na mahigpit sila sa Facebook, ganyan. May ruling pa nga sila na no phones at work. Ganun. Sobrang higpit na nun kapag pinagbawala ka mag-cellphone sa trabaho. Ultimo mag-CR ka, bawal ka mag-phone. May ganun. Dahil nga, may iningatan silang data. Next is email scams. Yan, very much known na yan sa ating lahat. Involved fraudulent and unsolicited emails that claim to offer a bargain for nothing. A scam email lures a user for the free offer, bogus business opportunity, guaranteed loans or credit, easy money help, and diet schemes, and so forth. Alam niyo na siguro yung email scams, no? So, hindi ko na yan i-elaborate. Ang nagmumula na scams na nagmumula saan? Sa attachments na nasa email, sa Gmail. Maraming mga hackers na ganyan yung ginagawa kasi meron din namang mga tao na mabilis mauto Na pag sinabing, ay, may free facial, ay, may free ganito. After mo magganyan, magkaka 5,000 ka. Diba? Kapag sound suspicious, automatically suspicious na yon. Kasi hindi mo ma-fulfill na sound suspicious. Suspicious siya kung hindi siya. Suspicious talaga. Saan nagigits yung sinabi ko. Pero, yun. Alam niya na dapat yung difference ng authentic na email sa email na scam. So, yun ang sinasabi dyan. Yan. So, in employee tips, email tips for employees should learn. Unang-una daw is, do not trust unsolicited emails. Do not send any funds to people who request them by email, specifically not before checking with leadership. Always filter spam. Configure your email client properly. Install antivirus and firewall program and keep them up to date. Do not click on unknown links in email messages. Beware of email attachments. If you get one from what looks like a friend, contact them independently to ensure that they actually sent it. So, kung na-experience nyo dati dun sa mga bulso email nyo na kapag galing sa outside organization, merong beware sa ilalim, may caution yung dilaw. So, kapag ang gamit mo ay company email, ganun din. Kapag hindi mismo galing sa kumpanya, yung emails, dapat pinoproof check muna siya kung sino yung nag-send. Wag, kung may sinend sila na something malicious, na something suspicious yung itsura, wag nang buksan. At kung alam mo na galing sa friend mo naman yung email, pwede naman nga siyang i-contact directly. I-message nyo. Tawagan nyo sa cellphone. Ikaw ba yung nag-email nito? Pwede naman yan. So, sobrang laki ng importance ng email kapag nagtatrabaho na kayo. Dati nang estudyante ako, hindi ko rin yan masyadong ginagamit. Parang I just use my Gmail account to send yung mga important files ko. Doon ko kinikip dati, estudyante ako. Tapos medyo nagkaroon na siya ng importance nung nag-a-apply ako ng nung nag-aaral ako, may mga teachers na hindi naman nagpapapasa sa email, may iba na nagpapapasa. Doon ko lang siya nagagamit. Pero, like, on a daily basis, I don't use my email nung estudyante ako. Not until nung nagkaroon ako, nag-OJT ako, nag-a-apply ako na lahat ng mga companies na gusto kong pag-applyan through email, ipapasa yung CV, yung credentials, ganyan. So, dun na, hanggang sa ngayon na nagtatrabaho ako, ginagamit ko pa rin siya dahil, kailangan ko na siyang gamitin. So, yung importance ng usage ng email ay habang tumatagal na, from being a student up to working, makikita nyo yung relevance. Kaya itong mga tips na to, pwede siyang i-apply din sa personal life natin. No, kapag alam mong parang scam yung content, no, so don't open the attachment. Kung alam mo naman na outside organization, tapos friend mo naman, kontakin nyo na lang sila. Direct to us. Ganun. So, makakatulong naman siya, even in real life or in our personal lives. Next is malware. A training session on malware should illustrate malware types and their implications. Malware type should include adware, spyware, viruses, trojans, backdoors, rootkits, ransomware, botnets, logic bombs, and armored viruses. Employees should learn how to identify malware and what to do if their device or network has been infected. So, yung malware in information technology is a set, a family of viruses, computer viruses, na nakapaloob nga din yung adware, spyware, viruses, etc. Di naman natin siya kailangang isa-isahin. Pero yung mga viruses na yan, iba't iba yung ini-infect niya sa device. Pwedeng kunin yung information. Yun yung una. Pwedeng yung mga information about dun sa sa device na yun ay palitan. Pwede rin naman na ang kunin lang ng specific virus na yun ay yung financial data. Iba-iba kasi yung nature ng mga viruses na yun. And sinasabi lang dito na dapat aware ka as employee dun sa iba't ibang klase ng malware or iba't ibang klase ng viruses na nakaka-infect dun sa device para kung sakali mangyari sa'yo or mangyari dun sa device mo, alam mo yung gagawin. So, yun yung sinasabi dyan sa malware. And, lastly, sa security awareness is the hoaxes. A hoax is defined as a falsehood or deception that is fabricated deliberately to subterfuge and victimize the users. The attackers generally use hoaxes through emails to harm employees. So, ito yung simpleng example ng hoaxes sa Facebook. Parang, one heart, mapupunta ka na sa langit. Ganyan. Yung falsified yung content. Yung parang, kapag shinare mo to, magkakaroon ka ng 10,000 next week. Yan. Diba? Deception. Niloloko ka. Tagalog. So, may mga ganun din sa emails. Lalo na pag sa trabaho. If you click on this link, you will have $100 on your account right away. Yan. Yan yung mga deceptive emails na tinatawag na parang, ay, i-click ko na to kasi magkakaroon ako ng $100 right away. And to make it worse, no, akala mo, magkaka $100 ka, yung pala, ikaw pala yung nanakawan ng $100. Sinakuha na pala yung back statement mo na naka-indicate dun sa email mo kasi virus pala. So, yun yung mga hoaxes or something false or not true and it is considered deceptive. Makakapanloko ng tao. So, yun yung hoaxes. And so, again, in security awareness, I discussed 10 kinds of security awareness that has been done in BPO companies. No? So, hindi ko na siya isa-isahin. Basta 10 na pag-usapan natin. Yan. Do you have questions so far? You can react anything. Heart, haha, kung wala kayong tanong. Like, kung nagigets naman yung flow of topic natin today. Anyone? May question ba? May tanong po ba? Hello?
None so far po.
None so far. Okay, thank you. Pero audible naman ako. Baka kasi mamaya wala ko nakukuha ang response pa kung mamaya hindi niyo ako naririnig. Ayan, thank you, thank you. Ayan, so, ayan yung unang part, yung first subtopic natin sa lesson 6. And then yung last part, which is maiksi lang to, yung crisis management. Parang kung di ako nagkakamali, 3 slides lang to. Now, when we talk about crisis management, it somehow identify the threats to an organization and its stakeholders and the method used by the organization to deal with these threats. Due to unpredictability of global events, organizations must be able to cope with the potential for drastic changes in the way they conduct business. So basically, when we say crisis management, it is the actions that has been done by the business whenever they face any crisis or any dilemmas. When we go back on the topic of business continuity management, we discuss a lot of stages and steps. Kung naaalala nyo pa, mitigate risk, may mga ganyan pa tayo na assessing risk, etc. And all of those processes, such as steps and stages, can be considered part of any crisis management that a particular business can do whenever they face a problem. Yes, we can consider doing the business continuity management in management of crisis. Pwedeng nakapailalim dun yung BCM, no, sa crisis management. Kasi kapag sinabi natin crisis, malakihan siya, no? It is somehow connected with negativity. Kapag sinabi natin crisis, hindi naman siya naging positibo sa tenga natin ever. No, so, ayun yung sinasabi dito na all of the things na kino-consider ng business as threat, they should identify it, assess it, and then do some methods na maaring makapag-cure or makapag-solve ng threats na kinakaharap nila. Yan. So, in crisis management, there are 2 types of crisis. Makukonsider natin yung paggawa ng crisis management through knowing first what are the types of crises. So, there are two things. No, una is yung self-inflicted, and then the next one is external. So, when we say self-inflicted, caused within the organization, such as an employee smokes in an environment with hazardous chemicals, opens or download questionable files on an office laptop, offers poor customer service that goes viral online, or an accounting department cooking the books. So, self-inflicted, ibig sabihin, may gumawa, may taong gumawa, may empleyadong gumawa na nag-cause ng crisis dun sa business or dun sa kumpanya. So, sabi nga dyan, nagkaroon ng sunog kasi merong empleyadong nagsigarilyo sa paligid. Or, nagkaroon ng sunog dahil merong hazardous chemicals sa paligid, and then may nagtapon ng upos ng sigarilyo na may sindi pa. Pwedeng ganon. O kaya naman may empleyado na medyo syungak tapos nag-download ng mga files, questionable files, na nag-cause ng virus dun sa company laptop. O kaya naman merong customer service representative na hindi na nga nakalinga ng maayos yung kliyente, nag-viral pa sa Facebook. And pinaka-famous sa finance na problema is yung niluluto ang libro. Ibig sabihin, minamagic. Sinabi na ang sales ay 800,000, yun pala ay 1 million, nawala yung 200K. May ganon. Self-inflicted. Ginawa mismo ng tao sa loob ng kumpanya. Kapag sinabi naman nating external, from outside, it can be natural disasters, security breaches, or false information about a company that hurts its reputation. Yung mga false information, misinformation outside ng the company can be considered also as crisis. Nasiraan, hindi naman sila ganun. External, galing sa chismosa sa labas, galing sa kabilang kumpanya, siniraan yung kumpanya na to. External, kasi nanggaling sa labas, hindi naman nanggaling sa loob. Pag bumagyo, pag nagkaroon ng sunog na nadamay lang yung kumpanya nyo, external. So, again, there are two types of crisis, which is first, the self-inflicted, and then the external, na pareho dapat nagagawa ng mitigating action kapag gumagawa ng crisis management. Kung babalikan lang natin yung unang definition. Ayan, and lastly, whenever, I'm not sure kung hindi, sa third year ko siya na-discuss, no? Bali ngayon sa third year kasi, ang topic na namin is risk response, and specifically, we are talking about the 6 C's and the importance of insurance in any business, no? Small, medium enterprise ka man, partnership ka man, one-man corporation, kung aware kayo dun sa OMC, one-man corporation ka man, or corporation ka, as in yung malaki, merong importance, no, yung insurance. And this also entails on the crisis management coverage. No, sabi dyan, insurance coverage designed to help a business limit the negative impact of events on the business reputation. It is an insurance agreement usually made as part of technology errors and omissions and internet, online property, and liability insurance policies. So, the idea of getting an insurance for businesses is somehow transferring the risk that they might face. Kagaya na nabanggit ko nga dun sa mga students ko sa third year na literally, ang reason kung bakit ka kumukuha ng insurance ay para ilipat sa kanila yung financial burden. Kapag meron kang crisis na kinakaharap, bigla kang, yung kumpanya mo nasunog. Imbis na ikaw yung maglabas as owner ng pera para ma-renovate, no, yung building na nasira, yung building na nasunog, yung insurance company ang magpo-provide nun sa'yo kasi nagbabayad ka ng premiums or nagbabayad ka ng insurance payment mo. So, whatever kind of crisis that they might face, either self-inflicted or external, as long as indicated dun sa coverage and capacity ng insurance na nakuha mo, and then you can claim it, no? Kung ano yung ino-offer na premiums or ino-offer na coverage ng insurance na kinuha mo. Kasi yun nga yung reason, unang-unang reason kung bakit ka kumuha ng insurance is to transfer the risk. ilipat sa kanila yung bigat. Kasi magbabayad ka na lang, as business owner, magbabayad ka na lang, no? Para kapag may dumating na risky na something, alam mo na may mag-handle ng risk na yon. So, yun yung reason kung bakit importante na magkaroon ng insurance and ano yung importance ng insurance sa crisis management. Para malimitahan, no, yung impact or yung consequence ng isang crisis na mangyayari dun sa mismong business. Yan. So, yun lang yung sinasabi dito sa crisis management. So, I hope you get the latter part, no? Importance ng crisis management and yung types ng crisis na pwedeng makapag cause ng something bad sa business or sa organization as a whole. Ayan. So, I think that is the last slide on my presentation. Ayan. 19. Do you have questions po ba? Meron po ba kayong tanong? Gustong sabihin? Learnings? Meron po ba kayong gustong i-share? If none, you can react anything. React lang kayo dyan para ma-notify ako. Ayan. Ayan, may nag-raise hand. Ay, raise hand ba yun? Message lang pala. Ayan, if you don't have any questions, okay, pwede po ba pa-send